As I said before, I'm using 2 cameras, so hopefully I'll get something in shot. But anyway, I want to start off with a mail call. It's from England. His name is Roy the Boy. He does small engine repair. And he had a drawing and I want a sticker. It probably cost him more to send it to me than to make the sticker. But I appreciate it. I have not made any stickers for my new channel yet because we haven't decided what we're going to do and whether we're going to start traveling or if we're going to stay here. Some things have came up. My wife's got to have surgery. I've got to have surgery, so it may be a while. So right now I'm just not going to make any stickers till we find out what we're going to do. But he also he sent me a thing about recycling. And you know, this is in Finland. I may be wrong. He may be in Finland, but it says Finland on it. 2018 summer calendar. April, May. That's for Finland. Yeah, it's Finland District Council. So I guess he's in Finland. I just started watching, and he seemed like a pretty good dude. He apparently over there they recycle, which I think we all should. It wouldn't only help the world out, put a little money in our pockets. Now some places they don't pay you for it. Back when I lived in Florida, my brother-in-law, we started going around the bars picking up cans, and he made enough money in 1 year to buy a new truck. But that's when it paid good money though. But now he also picked up glass, and he had to keep it separated: brown glass from clear glass, green glass from brown glass. Some colors you could mix and some you couldn't, but they had to be broken up and they fit 5-gallon drums. And he only made, I think it was 4 cents a pound, and he wound up giving that up because it wasn't worth time and trouble. Besides that, he worked as a foreman in Alaska on the pipeline. He only worked 6 months out of the year, and that's all he had to work. So I wanted to get that done out of the way. But Roy, you the boy. I like your channel. You got a good channel going there. So keep it up. All right. Now on to the motorcycle. I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. I'm not good at explaining things. I was asked one time to be a instructor at a small engine repair class, and I just told them no. I said I can show you how to do something, but I can't explain it to you. I have trouble. So I'm going to try to explain this to you. You may understand, you may not. But around the first of the month, I had to ride my bike to the doctor's office. And the doctor's office is less than a mile from my house. So I just rode a bike down there. That way I don't have to take the wife to work, drive all the way back home, go to the doctor, come back home, and then go get her in the afternoon. That's just too much gas. So I was riding the bike down there. Well, cranked the bike up, let it warm up, ran fine, no problems. I pulled out of the driveway, and before I got to the end of the street, which is a block maybe, it started missing. And I noticed sitting at the stop sign, it was losing power. So I went ahead and rode down to the doctor's office, and when I came out, he asked, a guy that was sitting inside, he said, "You having trouble with your bike?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's been setting up." I said, "More than likely just bad gas," which I thought it was. So I brought it back home, put it in the shop, drained all the gasoline out of it, put new gas in it with some injector cleaner. Didn't do any good. Ran just as bad. No power, missing. So I thought, well, maybe it's plugs. Well, on this model of Kawasaki Vulcan, you had to take the fuel tank off to get to the plugs. Which it's not hard, it's just time consuming. And I pulled the plugs out, and they weren't that dirty, and they looked good. And now, I'm used to working on small engines like lawnmowers, go-karts, generators, stuff that doesn't have fuel injection and does not have computers. Well, I tested the plugs, and the plugs tested fine. No problem. So I put them back in, put it back together, same thing. Missed real bad and everything. I had marked them to tell which cylinder went back into, because I always like to put the plugs back in the same cylinders I take them out of. I readjusted the gap on them at 8 millimeters, or it's 32 to 36 thousandths. So I set it at it's 8 to 10 millimeters. So I set it at a tight 9. Well, put it back in, put the tank back on, cranked it up, still the same thing. Well, I thought, well, I'm going to have some help. So I called, first I put a video out, and a couple of people said it was the voltage regulator. It could be the voltage regulator, and that it didn't sound like the plugs. But now, I also called the place where I bought the motorcycle at, and this is the first time I've ever had any trouble with it. And it's the first time I've had owned a fuel injected motorcycle. Well, I talked to the parts man, and I had a recording on my phone of how it sounded, and I let him listen to it. Well, first, let me tell you about the plugs. For one of these plugs, they want $14.95 for it. He said, I'll let you have both of them for $14. Thought I was going to pass out. And now I was reading the number off to him, and the number is CPR7EA9. And the R in it means resistor, but I didn't know that. I'm not used to messing with resistor plugs or anything like that. Not on motorcycles or small engines. I didn't even think about that thing having a computer in it because of the fuel injection. He said he listened to it, and he said, well, that don't sound like plugs. He said, that sounds like the voltage regulator has got a short in it. I said, okay. I asked him how much one was, and he quoted me a price of $149.99. I just flat out told him I can't afford that. I don't have the money for it. So I said, let me get back with you. Well, I came out to the shop, pulled the regulator off. This is the new one. I pulled the old regulator off, and there was oil all over the plug. I still don't know where that oil came from because the bike's not leaking. And this had a cover over it, so maybe I went through a patch of oil or something. Well, I took some contact cleaner, cleaned the contacts on it real good, cleaned the plug that goes into it real good with contact cleaner, and put some diametric grease in it. Plugged it back in, no difference. Same thing. So I called another parts place online, and we were talking, and he agreed with the guy. He said, yeah, he said, it does sound like the voltage regulator. So I said, well, I don't think they had one for it. So I went to eBay and I found this for $25. It was 30. I think it was $39.99. And when I went to check out, they said you have $14 or $15 that you can use on that making this purchase. So I used it. It was kind of like a coupon. So I used it, and I got it for $25.99 or something like that. And I didn't have to pay shipping; it's free shipping. So I ordered it, and it wasn't supposed to come in until last Friday, but it came in a day early. But in the meantime, I've been doing some research on YouTube and found out that these were resistor plugs. So I came back out and rechecked them. Put my meter on ohms. And this is supposed to be a multimeter, which should read automatically. It don't. Alright, it's reading 0.0226 or 25. Now on a standard plug, that would be fine. But on a resistor plug, it should read 19 point so and so, 19.5 or something like that. And when I found that out, I've got that on voltage. Good Lord. Alright, let me do it again. Alright. So there, nothing. Nothing coming through the side. Alright. On a standard plug, that tells me it's alright. And then, alright, it's showing 5.10 on it. It says to put it on a low setting. And it should show, on a resistor plug, it should show 19.5, give or take a few. That right there shows 5.10. This one shows 4.19. Apparently, I don't know if I'm doing this right or not because I'm still new at it. But anyway, to me it shows it's bad. So I didn't want to order them from where they were $14 a piece because I knew I could find them somewhere cheaper. So I called, I called Advance Auto. They didn't have any of them. I called AutoZone. They didn't have any. And we had a new O'Reilly's built just below my house here, just past my doctor's office. And I called him and told him, I said, told him what I need and everything. He looked it up and he said, I can have them in here tomorrow morning by 10 o'clock. That was on a Thursday morning. And I said, all right, how much are they? He said, six something plus tax for both of them. I said, yeah, go ahead and order them. I said, I'll be there to pick them up. Well, I came home, and I don't know why I did it, but I put the plugs back. I set the plugs, and I always check the. Another thing that the parts man told me, I said, well, what do you set your plugs at? New plugs. He said, we don't set them. He said, they come preset. Now, any mechanic knows, or should know, that little old box is not going to protect the end of that plug. They do come with a cover, but that end is still where it can be hit. And if that thing's dropped, it can mash it all the way down. And I checked it, and it was set on. It was below 20. So I reset the plugs, put the new plugs in, put the tank on, and I had already put this on, put the new regulator on, and it purred like a kitten. I told my wife, I said, I just wonder. So I took the new one off, put the old one back on there. Runs just fine. You've already heard it. No problem whatsoever. Now why it did that, I mean, I always say you got to learn something new every day, and I did. I learned how to work on my motorcycle. And I mean, I've worked on Harley Davidsons, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, but never a fuel injection. It's always been a carburetor type. And they all have regulators on them, but when a regulator goes out on a bike, a carbureted bike, I don't know about, I mean, it might be the same way with it. It's not going to run. I mean, if anything goes wrong with that regulator, that motorcycle is not going to crank. And I mean, I've been out of it for years. I mean, this is the first bike I've worked on. Oh, well, I had a Suzuki, carbureted Suzuki I bought to fix it, to repair before I started my channel. And I sold it about 6 months after I bought it. And it was carbureted. And I had to replace the voltage regulator on it. And I tuned it up, did an oil change on it. They had never replaced the coolant in it, and I had to replace all the coolant in it. And I replaced one of the tires. I think it was the front tire. And I made a good little profit off of it. But I bought this bike here new. This bike here, the Suzuki I bought, let's just say it was too good of a price to resist. I mean, I only gave $150 for it. It was a 2004 Suzuki. It was on Craigslist. Had 4,000 miles on it. And the guy that I bought it from said his son had bought it before he went to Iraq. Desert Storm? Well, it wasn't Desert Storm. It was 2004. He shipped out. He said about a year or two after his son joined the military and was killed the first week he was over. Roadside bomb. I'll never forget that. And I hated hearing that. But he wanted to get rid of the bike because he was moving. He was, and he had no place. He couldn't take it with him. So I bought it from him. And the bike didn't run at all. So I didn't really know what was wrong with it. And all I come to find out was just the fact that it had been stored up for so long. I was lucky there was no gasoline in it. Had been stored in it. Carburetor was perfect. Fuel tank was perfect. One of the tires had dry rotted, and the other tire, I wound up putting both tires on it. But anyway, these plugs are bad. So, and this here, I spoke to the guy that I bought it from, and he said he would take it back, but he would have to charge me shipping. Well, I just thought about it. I thought, well, heck, I'll just keep it because I might need it. And I still got the original box and cellophane. What I'll do is on the outside of the box, I'll write down what it's for and everything. I'll put it a little, well, it comes in a plastic bag, so I'll put it back in a plastic bag, put it with my parts. I'll have one if I ever need it. So, let me take you out and show you what I got going on today. I tell you what, I'm gonna start another video, and I'll call it something else. But anyway, this is explanation of how the motorcycle was fixed. But pure damn luck. I appreciate the help that I got from people. People, and some people were dead on it, said that was plugs, and I didn't listen to them. And then some people said, yeah, it's the regulator. But we all make mistakes in life, and there's no reason to ridicule somebody. I don't. If somebody makes a mistake on YouTube, yeah, sure, I'm not making a mention to it, but I'm not trying to ridicule you or make you feel bad or anything like that. But there are some people on there that just gets downright nasty and dirty with it. Nobody has with me on this time. The last time I did, I blocked them. I got my what do you call it? My my comments. I got them to where I read them before they go on channel. Not all of them. Now, if it's from someone I know and someone I've been that I can trust, or I feel like I can trust, I just let them automatically go on there. That thing came apart on me the other day. Okay, that fixes that. So, I will let y'all go, and I'll be back in a little while. Bye.